Good afternoon, everyone. I usually like a response. I know it's the last minute, it's the last hours. Good afternoon. Do you hear me from there? Thank you very much. That's already an acknowledgement that I'm speaking to lively people. Thank you so much. This is a side event organized between the African Union Development Agency, AUDA-NEPAD, the African Development Bank, and the African Union Commission, with the support from the partnership with the European Union. So you can see I have mentioned this. We have representatives who have come here, which fits very well because we are talking about a practical session which talks about electrifying Africa. In the context of the desire of Africa to connect all the member states on one grid known as the African Single Electricity Market. It's going to be the biggest geographically. In terms of content, maybe not, but geographically in future, Africa will have the biggest grid. And here I'm represented, I have representation starting from my right. I will introduce them by names as they speak, and I'll ask them to speak their remarks, starting from the African Union Development Agency. My brother here, Amin, is Director of Infrastructure, Industry, and Trade within the African Union Development Agency, and he is representing Her Excellency, the CEO, who unfortunately cannot be with us for other occupations. Over to you. I hope this is working. Try it. If not working, I'll do this.
I will just keep it here. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Good evening. It's working. Yeah, it's now working, this one. Ladies and gentlemen, esteemed government members, partners, distinguished officials, and honored guests, ladies and gentlemen, all protocol observed. I'm going to speak here on behalf of Madame Nardos Bekele-Thomas, who is the Chief Executive Officer of AUDA-NEPAD. As we convene today, I stand before you not just to report our achievements on the Continental Masterplan, but also to issue a call to action, an appeal to galvanize stakeholders in addressing the pressing issue, the pressing challenge of lack of access to electricity in our continent. In the recent fourth ordinary session of the STC, our Specialized Technical Committee on Transport, Transcontinental and Interregional Infrastructure and Energy, that was held in September in Zanzibar, there was the adoption of the Continental Power Systems Masterplan and the African Single Electricity Market, AFSEM 5 years business plan. It was adopted during this meeting. Let me report this, ladies and gentlemen. The CMP and the AFSEM embody a vision of a unified Africa connected through a single electricity grid, but their true impact lies not in the pages of report, but in the lives they can actually transform. It's a call for all of us to double our efforts toward bridging the gap and ensuring universal access to clean, affordable, and uninterrupted electricity. Our success hinges on collaboration on government financial institutions, development partners, and communities coming all together in a unified effort. I would like to extend here my deep appreciation to all those who committed resources in the past phase of the CMP, including the African Development Bank, the European Union, but also the International Atomic Energy Agency, the International Renewable Energy Agency, IRENE, USAID Power Africa, the French Development Agency, GATE Pro, the regional economic communities, power pools, and also, of course, our African Union member states, as well as GIZ as well. Your contributions, ladies and gentlemen, were very instrumental in the achievement of the first phase of the CMP. Ladies and gentlemen, Africa, with 40% of the world's renewable energy potential, we hold a unique opportunity to build a green energy system that not only will eliminate our factories, our homes, but would also fuel climate positive growth. So the CMP and the AFSEM, they set for a bold vision for scaling up renewable energy, aligning with the recent Africa Climate Summit Nairobi Declaration for achieving 300 gigawatts from renewable by 2030. So let us seize all together this opportunity and convert it into tangible progress. The CMP and AFSEM, both together, actually we propose to quadruple the current generation capacity to an impressive ambition of 1,200 gigawatts by 2040, of which over 60% will be renewable. That will, of course, help to reduce Africa's carbon emission intensity by over 50% in the electricity sector. The investment, which is actually required for the CMP, is projected to be $1.3 trillion, with about 35 billion, which is earmarked for transmission and the rest for power generation. So the potential for electricity trading between power pools in our continent is estimated to be 135 billion by 2040 in part of the Africa Continental Free Trade Area, the ACFTA. And there is also a potential for electricity trade between Africa, Europe, and the Middle East, not only through existing interconnection, but also through planned interconnection. So for us, it's important that we recognize that CMP and AFSEM are reference document, but they are more than reference document. For us, they are the blueprint of the commitment of our member states, our head of states and government, to prioritize the electricity sector. So let these documents be more than just words on paper, and let them be a spark for the transformative change, a roadmap that will guide our collective journey toward a future where no one will be left out, actually, in Africa. But ladies and gentlemen, to make sure that the CMP become a reality, we really need to undertake a focused approach. And this focused approach for us include 3 steps. Number 1, capacity building. Capacity building for enhancing long-term energy planning for our member states, in collaboration, of course, with our regional economic communities, but also our regional power pool, so that we'll align our regional master plans with the CMP, we'll align our national master plan with the CMP and the AFSEM goal. And at AUDA-NEPAD, we are already doing that, but we need to join effort all together to better support our member states in building their capacity, and our regional power pool as well, in building their capacity, not only for energy planning, but also for managing efficiently big energy projects. Number 2, we need as well to accelerate priority projects by developing I would say, a valid, a strong, solid pipeline of bankable priority projects that will be the foundation of accessible, sustainable energy across the continent. At AUDA-NEPAD, again, with the support of our partners, we have, for the last few years, have been launching and using the service delivery mechanism, which is an instrument that is dedicated to undertake early project preparation, ensuring quality and rigor, so as to support all stakeholders to move projects from identification stage to financial close. And the CMP projects need to be supported, to be moved quickly, swiftly, to the bankability stage. We estimate that the initial investment for this phase, actually the work we are doing at AUDA-NEPAD, will require an investment of about $200 million for this pre-feasibility work. We need to work together to mobilize those initial funding and ensure that projects are moved quickly and swiftly to the bankability level. And time is of essence here. And thirdly, it's important to continue working together to create innovative market by supporting power pools in creating innovative regional electricity markets, actually, including renewable energy markets and electricity exchange financial markets. So implementation of AFSEM is a mandatory road if we really want to close the gap in terms of access to electricity, and if we want to move toward a universal access and obviously just a transition. So ladies and gentlemen, in closing, I would like to assure you that at AUDA-NEPAD, we remain committed to drive this initiative forward. Of course, we are acting on behalf of our member states because this is our mandate. But our commitment is not enough. It requires really collective pledges from each one of you here and from all our member states together so that we can really move this initiative from just a plan to become a reality by 2030 first, then by 2040, and to achieve the 80% access, which still be, I would say, short of the project of making sure that we'll achieve universal access. Thank you very much. And yeah.
Thank you very much, my brother. I think this is, the outline is we are going to have power 24/7 in the future. Continental Power System Masterplan, AUDA-NEPAD driving the implementation. But in it, we need finance. And finance have already started. Let me call upon African Development Bank. And African Development Bank, as I mentioned, here we are representing our Vice President who was supposed to be with us but could not. And we have Director Wale Shonbare, who is the Director of Energy Financing Solutions, Policy and Regulations. Over to you to deliver the remarks. And try to keep it in 5 minutes so that people don't start thinking of home.
Yes. Good evening, everybody. My name is Wale Shonibare. Thank you, Mr. Moderator. I know it's quite late in the day, so I'll make my remarks very brief. I'm here representing Vice President Kevin Kariuki, who's responsible for energy, climate, and green growth at the African Development Bank. So we all know the statistics about low energy access in Africa. 56% of African population have access. We've all heard the statistics of 580 million Africans not having access to electricity. And we know that there's projected population growth. We have a young population in Africa. Africa needs to industrialize in order to bring people out of poverty. The African Development Bank's #1 strategic objective is to light up and empower Africa. And we also have the New Deal on Energy for Africa to implement that objective. And with the recently adopted Africa Continental Power Systems Master Plan, We all know that it's not business as usual. To meet the demand growth, Africa needs to generate about 2,400 terawatt hours by 2040, costing approximately $1.3 billion. And in order to do that, our work is set out. We need to raise significant amount of financing, and also in terms of developing priority regional infrastructure, transmission lines, in order to have the integrated African single electricity market, and also the Continental Masterplan. We have been working very closely with AUDA-NEPAD, African Union Commission, European Union. The African Development Bank contributed about $6 million for stakeholder consultations and the development of the Central Power Pool Master Plan and capacity building within AUDA-NEPAD and the power pools. And with the work on the Continental Master Plan, the findings demonstrate that there's significant potential socioeconomic and environmental benefits in having a fully integrated continental power system on the continent. And in fact, there's a lot of potential export earnings for Africa in trading power. Mozambique alone earns about $200 million a year from trading, from its power trade into the Southern Africa power pool. And it's estimated that about $136 billion annually by 2040 could be realized by African countries who are able to trade electricity. And this is also in line with the AFCFTA. So the CMP and AFSEM, Continental Master Plan, and the single electricity market are absolutely crucial. And we are fully committed to supporting it. So in conclusion, I wish to reiterate the African Development Bank's support. We will continue to work with the AUC, AUDA-NEPAD, EU World Bank, and other development finance institutions. And there's a plan to organize the Africa Energy Summit in line with the requirement during the fourth ordinary session of the African Union, when one of the recommendations was that this summit should be organized in 2024 in order to bring all the stakeholders together behind this ambition. Thank you very much for listening, and I hope I kept to my 5 minutes.
Thank you, sir, very much, and thank you for keeping your time. And thank you, thank you. Now can I move on to the African Union Commission? As you have heard that the summit is on, the bank is ready. AUDA-NEPAD has already displayed they want to move with this electrification program. Bank is ready. Now how do we bring people together? You can see already we have here, Honorable is in with us. So we are moving, everybody is coming. So over to AUC. We are represented here by Mr. Eric Mutagengwe-Rwa, who is representing Her Excellency, the Commissioner for Infrastructure and Energy, who went to some meetings in the morning and was dragged into other meetings and cannot be with us as well. But since we have a meeting now with directors, I think it makes a lot of much more music. Over to you, Eric.
Thank you, moderator. On behalf of Her Excellency Dr. Mani Abu Zaid, Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, all protocol observed, it is with great pleasure and gratitude that on behalf of the African Union Commission, I welcome you all to this event organized together with AUDA-NEPAD and the African Development Bank with the aim to showcase Africa's plans and strategies for a sustainable low-carbon energy future within the context of the two important energy initiatives of the African Union, the African Single Electricity Market and the Continental Power System Master Plan, and to rally political, financial, technical, and strategic support towards their implementation phases. The last 5 years within which the AFSEM and the CMP were marked by triple crises of the COVID-19 pandemic, the Russia's invasion of Ukraine, and the impact of climate change. These crises negatively affected Africa and the world at large, triggering financial and economic crises and adversely impacting Africa's energy sector, leading to rising energy security concerns and influencing critical energy infrastructure decisions. In the wake of these crises, access to affordable, reliable, and sustainable energy continues to be a major challenge for Africa. Thus, the policymakers consider it necessary for re-strategizing towards accelerating energy systems development in a resilient and sustainable way, with a view to immensely deploy and benefit from the vast low-carbon energy resources by making renewables to meet more than 80% of the increase in electricity generation by 2030. The Continental Power System Masterplan, CMP, projects that Africa needs about 2,400 terawatt-hour by 2040, corresponding to an increase of nearby 1,500 terawatt-hour from the 2021 level. This represents an average annual growth rate of 5.4% and translates to an additional 252 gigawatts capacity requirements until 2040. The generation mix in the continent is projected to be more diversified, with the installation of the solar PV capacity projected to increase at least 20-fold, while wind power is projected to be one of the dominant technologies on the system. This aligns with the estimates of our partners. According to the International Energy Agency's Africa Energy Outlook report of 2022, solar and wind energy are expected to increase 8-fold by 2030, while IRENA's 1.5 degrees Celsius scenario estimates that the share of renewable energy will reach up to 90% of power generation in 2050, with Africa's primary energy demand rising by over 30% by 2030. The good news is that Africa has sufficient renewable energy resources to meet these ambitious projections, which are essential for driving the continental socio-economic development aspirations. The available hydro resources can meet about 70% of the projected baseline continental peak demand, and more than 97% of the exploitable solar and wind resources identified remain untapped. These resources can be fully utilized towards building a sustainable low-carbon future under the African single electricity market, and this holds new promise for continent's universal energy access goals. Distinguished participants, it is evident that renewable energy technologies can unleash multiple opportunities to achieve Africa's twin goals of sustainable energy access and green economy transformation, and with renewable energy constituting 763 gigawatts installed out of a total of 1,200 gigawatts by 2040 based on CMP projections. It is more important than ever to make the business case to low-carbon energy development in Africa using renewables to inform energy decisions in the continent to enable the capture of the huge benefits of low-carbon energy technologies and innovations. Both the AFSEM and the CMP have been designed to provide the needed guides for the best pathway towards Africa's sustainable energy generation, transmission, and utilization in the coming decades, and to ensure an inclusive, sustainable, and equitable low-carbon energy future. AFSEM will pave the way for coordinated action to ensure that investment levels in Africa's low-carbon energy sector reach new highs and turn expectation into reality. There is an urgent need for the regional and national governments, development partners, and the private sector to work together to ensure that Africa's transition to a low-carbon energy future is set in motion and enables it to be a catalyst for the expected economic growth and the improvement of livelihoods across the continent. More importantly, private and public sectors must participate to scale up renewable energy projects and achieve the needed transformational change on the continent. As I conclude, building on the gains of the Africa Climate Summit, COP28 offers Africa an excellent platform to strengthen partnerships, to work together to translate these ambitions into concrete actions, to harness renewable energy resources abundant in Africa and to benefit the world at large. I thank you and wish you fruitful deliberations.
Thank you. That's from the African Union Commission, the words of wisdom. We are now really turning energy into a really powerful area of winning on the climate change. I think let's take it seriously, and I want to ask representing Commissioner as well as representing Director, Stefano is coming to help us. Stefano Signoris is heading the unit on climate and energy, and he will speak on behalf of two people on top of him, so he will be very brief.
Thank you very much, moderator, and thanks for this opportunity to express the European Union and European Commission point of view on this matter. Let me say that I'm always happy to intervene in conversation around this topic because we were there from the very beginning in supporting, let's say, the efforts of the African Continental Institution on the African Single Electricity Market, the Continental Masterplan, but let me also mention the work that AFREC is carrying out on the energy efficiency. So why for us this endeavor is important? First of all, because it's an African-owned and Africa-led process that in a partnership spirit we want to support. So that is why we mobilized from the very start a very solid team of expertise in order to support the technical work that has been undertaken by the African partners, but also because we believe that this work is fundamental in order to achieve a number of goals, which are also European Union goals. So first of all, without an integrated electricity market, it will be difficult to achieve the decarbonization of the energy system because only well-interconnected electricity market can achieve decarbonization over time because, you know, to, of course, integrate in particular intermittent renewable, but also to balance, of course, deficit and surplus amongst the different countries. Of course, to achieve full access to energy and to spur investment. And of course, the investment agenda is very strong on our side. Let me recall that in the period 2014-2020, EU member state and EU institution mobilized close to 14 billion euros in support of SDG 7 investment in Africa. And we will mention also new figures tomorrow for the years to come. Therefore, this work is really important to connect with the investment agenda and with the integration, as I said, of regional market in support of what the power pools are doing and, of course, the country themselves. This will continue to support that. We are preparing, together with the African institution and with the counterparts that are here represented today, and with our colleagues in Addis, the launch of a new program which, as of next year, will consolidate all this work, make it sustainable over time, and also expand the activity insofar possible. And of course, also integrated the work we are doing under the Africa-Europe Energy Partnership. So we want to scale up this support. We are committed to keep our partnership on that. Let me just finish perhaps with mentioning a challenge we all have on this, which is the following. Of course, this is a long-term endeavor. There is work to do between now and 2040. At the same time, there is a strong political pressure that we all have to deliver on the ground with projects, you know, with the concrete things that can happen on the ground. So I think while this long-term perspective is entertained and more work is done, at the same time we also need to connect, let's say, this long-term agenda with the shorter-term agenda. What I mean short, it's 3 to 5 years, in order to identify a number of projects that can already represent on the ground, let's say, the achievement that the Continental Masterplan and the Africa Single Electricity Market can represent going forward. Let me stop here. Thank you very much for this opportunity, and thanks for all the partners for being there. Thanks.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. I understand the label of this COP28 is action. Action. And here we have been given a very nice homework. We were doing designing of the Continental Power System Master Plan. Now we need projects to go online. It's no longer just talk, but action. So when it is action, am I allowed to take off some high level from the African Union Commission? Please, can you go and listen what other people are going to say? From African Development Bank, can you sit down and listen? From Africa, AUDA-NEPAD, go and sit and listen. I want to call in additional team members. You stay, you started it, so I don't want you to go. I want you to, so if you can now, please, I want people who listen. Now we are going into discussions. The people who are there, you are listening, but you are not listening forever. I want to call upon, already sitting here in front of us, guess who? Honorable Minister Peter Kapala, Zambian Minister of Energy, has come to share with us discussions going forward. And I want him to be joined by representative of, Egyptian government minister did not come, did not manage to be here. So he had sent a representation who is also not able to be here. So let me call upon Inga. We have Bob Mabaia, the owners of that huge project we have had. Where are you sitting? I don't see. Ah, there you are. Please come and join us here in front. And you sit at the center because you are the center of the energy hub, the gigawatts. Chair. And then let me call upon those who manage power flows. Engineer Stephen Diwa, who is the Executive Director of the Southern African Power Pool Coordination Center. Can you come and join here close to your source of power? And from partners who are interested in this, let me call upon a representative of Her Excellency Federal Minister of Economic Cooperation, represented here by Mr. Dick Meyer. Please come and sit here in front. Good. Right. I would like to call Irina, but I want to sit you to sit there. But maybe time allowing, I want you to be part of here, but I don't want you to sit here. Now I'm going to be here. Is that okay? Good. Right. Now we want to go into another level of discussion, which is no longer discussing things the way we hear stories. I want to call upon our Honorable Minister to start this discussion. Honorable Minister, allow me to ask you, microphones? Let me surrender mine. I don't know whether you are given sufficient microphones. Take mine.
Thank you.
Let me give you my question. Right. As we all know that the speakers up to now have been telling us what they vision, what they want to do. But here we are now faced by a situation where we have to act. Honorable Minister, you heard that everybody is talking about the Continental Power System Master Plan, how it is going to drive the economic power of Africa. So, what is that in your own version? What do you think? how the member states should be involved in this. And here when you speak on behalf of also other member states, not only Zambia. And based on your own experience, what are those elements of the Continental Power System Master Plan's vision will need support for implementation? We want to hear it from the member states. Let's all listen so that we can digest. Thank you. Over to you.
Thank you so much, and good evening, everybody. Well, to start with, as for Zambia, we need to look at the advantage that we've got. We are centrally located. Other people would call it landlocked, but we call it land-linked. As a result of our position, we'd like to take advantage of this and utilize our vast potential in terms of power generation. We are in a process of connecting to the East African Power Pool. We are a member of the Southern African Power Pool. So we've got this project which is going to be funded by the World Bank, which is the East African Connector, which is Zambia, Tanzania, up to Kenya. So as you can see, the location where we are will facilitate the trading of power, in Africa, from Southern Africa to East Africa and eventually to North and West Africa.
Thank you very much. You can see a country knows that it's landlocked, it's in the middle of Africa, and wants to be the sort of the nodal, the power junction where power transmits. Here we are talking also of Zizabona. I think you are aware that there is going to be a crisscross of power through the nation. Thank you very much. Let me move on because of the interest of time. Let me move on to our brother here from DRC. Very interesting. We have heard of Inga for many years. I think Inga is the historical story of big power in Africa. And we know that Inga is still there. It has not run away, despite our delays. And now when we look at this whole Continental Power System Master Plan, what are the challenges in both the Continental Power System Master Plan? We have had the program for infrastructure development in Africa. How soon are we going to have the power flowing? How soon are we going to start having power flowing? Because here, CMP 2040, things have to happen. Over to you. Can we share the microphone? I think microphones are a bit scarce in this house, but...
D'accord, merci beaucoup. C'est vrai, le projet Grand Inga, on entend parler de ce projet depuis des années.
Oh, so please, those who have French or interpretation. I wish I had finished my French lessons. Otherwise, I was going to interpret. I think those who are in front of you have got your microphones on your chairs, but those who are sitting in the group, you will bear with us. I think go ahead. Please. That's why I kept you in the front.
Oui, en fait, la question était concernée Inga, dont on parle depuis un certain temps. Et je pense que la question était si... You
are translating into French.
Yeah. I'm...
You speak in French and then you translate.
Okay. Okay, fine. Okay. I will translate what is saying into English. Okay, fine.
Voilà, je disais donc merci pour votre question et celle que vous posez, elle est toute pertinente.
Thanks a lot for the question, which is very pertinent.
Le site d'Inga a produit Inga 1 et Inga 2.
Je n'ai pas compris. Ok, donc il n'y a pas besoin de faire ça. Ok.
No, they don't need. Okay, we one technical problem. Audience, Please update your French. You listen in French, and we continue. The other panelists, they've got the advantage, they can get the interpretation from there. But please, Stefano, you did very well. Just keep what he's saying and summarize it at the end, maybe, so that our colleagues who did not go to... Yeah, this is exactly what I was asking in the beginning. I'm not the technical person, but if as a moderator, you should have handed over. So, please, those who want to understand French, there are some instruments at the back on the right-hand side. Feel free, go and fetch. My apology. I should have done my homework in the beginning, but I asked this question, where are the instruments? And I was only shown this. I didn't know that there's something hidden in that corner there. Yeah, time we're running out. Please try to be brief. We know that Inga, just go to the question, Inga's story, we know it. What is going to happen in the next 2, 3, 5 years?
Voilà, merci. Si la question est l'attente et que je vous dise Inga commence dans 5 ou 6 mois, clairement ce n'est pas dans cette durée-là. Nous sommes en train de travailler sur la structuration d'Inga, autant sur la partie technique que sur la partie financière. Le schéma de développement est assez connu. Nous avons travaillé en quelques moments avec les équipes de Continental Masterplan. Ce qu'il faut retenir aujourd'hui, c'est que Inga est inclus dans le flagship, en tant que flagship de l'Union africaine, et l'énergie produite à partir d'Inga non seulement va résoudre le problème d'accès à l'énergie, l'accès à l'électricité pour l'Afrique, parce que retenons qu'en premier lieu, l'Afrique a besoin de l'accès à l'électricité. Et ensuite vient le problème de l'électricité, de l'énergie propre. Et Inga est capable de résoudre ces deux problèmes avec de l'énergie qui part du site et des lignes qui partent sur toute l'Afrique. Donc nous sommes en train de travailler, la durée de construction est connue. Quand est-ce que nous commençons? Nous sommes en train d'y travailler. Merci.
Thank you very much. I only heard we are working on it, but I didn't hear the timetable. Anyway, I'll come back to you if given time, because we want to nail down in 10 years, are we going to have power or not? Maybe before I ask that question, maybe I'm taking over from my brother Stephen. You might have to ask that question, but give us your vision. When you look at now the Continental Power System Master Plan, and you realize, things are moving closer to where we are, but there are other things which we should look at. Policy, regulatory frameworks, how the trade is being done. Can you give us your vision? How do you see this thing going forward? You were part of, from the day one, you were part of structuring this CMP, but the regulatory and how we go forward. Please, over to you.
Thank you very much, and thank you for the opportunity to participate in this discussion. I think, first of all, just to complement the effort that has been made in developing the Continental Master Plan. And from a powerful point of view, we see the Continental Master Plan as being built on the building blocks of the power pools. Power pools have already been engaging at regional level, as well as ensuring that there has been engagement with countries to ensure that the environment is an enabling environment both for the operations of the power system as well as facilitating investment in the sector. And we are happy that in each region there is either an association of regulators or a regional regulator to provide that linkage to ensure that the regulatory framework is prepared for that purpose. From a trading point of view, we have been trading, for example, as the Southern African Power Pool, from the Southern African point of view. But we've already started engaging, for example, with Eastern African Power Pool, because we are aware that it's much easier to look at coupling from one power pool to the other as far as trading is concerned. And we believe that will provide a faster move towards the single African electricity market. Let me stop there.
Thank you very much. That was brief and to the point. Yes, regulatory at a regional perspective is okay. Continental, we have a big homework ahead of us. If we want to have it, let's do it properly. Let me hear from our brothers from the other side of the partnership. From Germany here, represented by, I introduced already in the past. We want to hear what is your take in terms of, let me ask a very simple question so that we don't, what would you do in this case as a partner in order to see that we support the efforts which are coming? I think you heard already from one of my colleagues, they were talking about bringing energy as far as to Europe for export, to Asia as an export. But in your case, looking at the technological aspect we have, looking at the things that are already in place, what is that you can see as your support mechanism?
Well, first of all, thank you very much for the question. First of all, I think it's very impressive to see what is going on, and everything I heard is so sensible and rational, and it's all connected with the biggest important assumption that that you are able to close the gap between cost effectiveness on the one hand and sustainability on the other hand. And also coming from a government, knowing what our roles are, the role is setting a framework, a legal framework, and trying to set incentives for private investment. That's what I see in this big project as well, very well done and very much on the way. When it comes to developing and emerging countries, of course, we need some extra money on top of it to speed it up, to accelerate. And you heard from my colleague from the European Commission how strongly we are engaged, and Germany as well, with the cooperation is engaged as well. So we address these areas with policy-based loans, policy-based operations for reforms on our partner countries, and of course with solutions specifically for bankable frameworks and bankable projects. So as we underwent all these processes as well, so we have the expertise also with the GIZ to support this big project, which is so crucial for the African continent.
Wow, thank you very much. Let me take it. Thank you. I think this was already from partner side, we hear good ideas already coming forward. And I would like to maybe ask you last question. I'm under time pressure. I was going to ask the audience maybe to intervene, but sorry, outside they are already calling to say they didn't leave 15 minutes in between. But I just want to have one word from Irina, since was one of our partners and also sitting in the audience. What is that we can, in terms of support, you have been supporting, and going forward, how do we see the support going forward?
Thank you very much. I think it has been a very established collaboration between AUDA-NEPAD and IRENA and the power pools in the development of Continental Masterplan. And we have signed a new MOU with AUDA to even strengthen this collaboration. During this period, we have provided extensive capacity building support, also supported the development of CMP. And we are looking forward to deepen the collaboration at the power pool level with the East Africa Power Pool and Southern Africa Power Pool. We have already requested support for capacity building for those. We will continue doing that. But I want to highlight 2 points here. One is the importance of infrastructure, because that's also highlighted by the INGA representative, that if you are bringing a lot of electricity into the grid, you have to strengthen the grid. Grid is key. I mean, you have to invest in the grid. You have to invest in infrastructure to be able to enable energy transition. And this is a clear message coming from our World Energy Transition Outlook. We will be doing it also for 5 sub-regions. And very much focus on infrastructure. The last point is finance. You spoke about how to make things happen. And IRENA is not a financial institution, but we are trying to facilitating it. We have an energy transition investment accelerated platform, financing platform. Now we are aiming to, not aiming, but we are reaching to almost $5 billion funds sitting on these funds. Tomorrow, day after, World Bank will announce $1 billion contribution. EBRD will announce $1 billion contribution. And with all these partners, we will achieve, this is for supporting infrastructure for Africa and elsewhere.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I think those who have been listening, I want to call back the group which was here, African Development Bank. Representative is gone. AUC representative. Wale, please come to the front. I'll tell you why my brother Amin, come back, please. And then Eric, represented now by someone else, please come to the front. Why? Because we don't want to, what they've been talking, I hope you are recording. I want to keep a picture so that we will tell in 5 years' time, on this day you said A, B, C, D. On this day we promised each other this and this. Where are we? Can we have a group photo here? And Irina, please come and join us. I would like to stand close to the minister, of course. Can we stand up? Come to this line. No. Help me now to thank this group. This group, I can tell you, one of the fastest moving initiative or program I have seen in my life with the African Union Commission and the African Development Agency is the CMP and AFSEM. If you remember, it was announced, it was adopted in 2021. And in 2023, we already have a master plan, a blueprint. So this group, we want to remember them as we go forward. These are partnerships we want to enforce. So, ladies and gentlemen, I would like you to help me applaud them. Thank you very much.